Hey everyone, let's talk about the new cards that will come out with Naxx this week. There will be 4 new neutral cards and 2 new class cards. First we have Dancing Swords, a 4/4 for 3 mana with a death rattle that draws a card for the opponent. A great tempo card with a huge downside. There's one deck it fits into incredibly well, the Naxxramas Rogue. That deck doesn't care if the other player draws cards. In fact, it often wants them to draw more cards, so they get burned. Unfortunately, it is a free drop, lowering its value in Aggro somewhat. Since the deck already has a lot of strong free cost minions available, like the SI7 agents, King Mugla, Blood Knight, Edwin, and Arcane Golem. But I'll still try out this card with my own rogue though. The next card is Spectral Knight, a 4/6 minion for 5 mana that cannot be targeted by spells or hero powers. It is like a big version of the Fairy Dragon, where the Fairy Dragon suffers because of its low health versus rogues, because you can still kill it with SI7 agents. This card shines with its huge health pool. Even an Arcanite Reaper swing cannot take it down. Cards like this and Lofeb have the effect that the game will be more about minions and less about spells. This card is a huge blow to Miracle Rogue, because if you give it Taunt, there are very few ways to deal with it other than attacking it with your own minions. The third card is Deathlord, a 2/8 minion for 3 mana with Taunt, with a death rattle that plays a minion from the opponent's deck onto the board. An extremely interesting minion that I have a hard time deciding on whether it is really strong or not. It does seem to be quite a gamble if the other player kills it and gets a Spectral Knight out of it. It would be a huge blow, but if you traded it away on your own turn when playing against, say, a Miracle Rogue, and it came out with Leroy, you would get a chance to kill it without them ever getting to use it. If this minion becomes a staple in most decks, Crazed Alchemist would finally be a good minion, making the Deathlord into an 8/2 and easily killable. Bottom line is that I'm not 100% sure how this minion will affect the meta, and I'm very curious to find out. The legendary for this wing is Baron Rivendare, a 1/7 minion for 4 mana with the effect that makes all of your own minions' death rattles trigger twice. This is the legendary from Naxx that I've been waiting on. It'll be so good in decks like the Aggro Rogue, but honestly, it'll be good in almost all decks. If you can get just 1 extra death rattle out of it with something like a Loot Hoarder, it'll be more than worth it. I think this legendary will be in most decks, just like Lofeb. With only a few exceptions like the Miracle Rogue, Rivendare will also have great synergy with the new Shaman card, Reincarnate. That I will talk about next. So the new Shaman card is Reincarnate. It is a spell for 2 mana that kills a friendly minion and then returns it to life again with full health. The most hyped class card for good reason. I expect we will see many Shamans next week, most of them trying out this new card. The combinations you can make with this card, Ancestral Spirit and Baron Rivendare, are insane. Sure, it might not work all the time, but I'm sure that is not going to stop the Shamans out there from trying. We will see fancy plays next week. A lot. The new Warlock card is Voidcaller, a 3/4 minion for 4 mana with a death rattle that puts a random demon from your hand onto the board. Interesting card. It might be the card that will finally make mid-range Warlocks popular. If you can get a 6/6 Dread Infernal out of the Battlecry, or even another Voidcaller, it would be very hard to stop that kind of momentum. I certainly think this card has a lot of potential. You can get cheap minions out of your hand fast by just playing them before you play the Voidcaller, guaranteeing that you will get one of your bigger minions from your hand instead. We will have to wait and see though if the general player base will embrace this card or not. Overall, I think the cards this week are very strong and will see a lot of use. I really like the whole Death Rattle theme and focus on minions in general. It is also another week that will increase the value of the Stampeding Kodo, with the addition of 2 powerful minions with 2 or less attack. We have another interesting week of Hearthstone ahead of us. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.